Hello everybody, welcome back to the Game Kingdom. I'm your host, Game King 504, and I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. I sure as heck did. We had a lot going on. We had Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and of course the New Year itself. And I hope everybody had a wonderful New Year. I sure as heck did. Had a lot of people come over, had some fun with the fam, and friends came by and whatnot. And just, I wish many great things for this new year. I think this year is going to be a great one in general. I know I've been gone for a minute. I haven't posted anything new just because of just the holiday season and of course work and things like that. Life in general just takes over. But this is the first video of the new year of 2023 for this channel, and I'm so happy to be doing this for the new year. And before I did this video, but when I was sitting thinking and just contemplating how I wanted to start the new year off, what was a better way to start it off with a pickups video of what I got last year before the new year kicked in. So what this video is all of my pickups that I got over the past month. And what this new video is going to be starting off is going to be a series I'm going to be doing every month, at least once a month, showing off all the great things I pick up, whether it's gaming related, anime, even sometimes sports and wrestling. I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm sure there's a couple people who are wrestling fans, but in general though, this video is going to be talking about all the pickups that I got in the past month. And this is going to be starting off my new series called The King's Treasure. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And with that being said, let's get to the video. I'm gonna make this pretty. I have a lot to show you guys, so I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible. Just talking about some of the things that I got and whatnot. These are some of the some of the big games that I got and everything for the season. And to start things off, I wanted to start off with something a little bit more of a retro style and whatnot that I did. So to start things off, I wanted to show off this one, Witch and Wiz. Witch and Wiz is an actual NES game. And the craziest thing is that we're still getting newer releases for the NES console. Like, NES is still getting video games like being released, which is crazy. You get to play as a witch and a young boy going on an adventure, and you're defeating this witch. It's kind of like plain Jane, simple, old style storytelling and whatnot. It's a platformer. It's really cool. The retro game I managed to find, I was just out gaming, hunting one day and whatnot. Found this guy. Showdown Legends of Wrestling. WWE, of course, is talking about. This game here is really, really cool. It's more of the arcade style. It's not really playing the 2K games and everything. It's really arcade-ish style. The bodies are massive and everything else like that. But they're over the top. Moves are over the top. The action is really crazy. It's fast-paced from what it is. It's really a cool game and whatnot. I've been looking for this for a little while, but it's great that I got it to my collection on the PS2. Now, this is another retro game that got a reprint in the modern era, and it's called Gyarados. This guy here, this game is a shoot 'em up, side-scrolling shooter. If you ever played any of those were some of the biggest games back in the day on the Genesis and whatnot. And this is for the Genesis, and we're still getting, like I said, just similar to the NES, we're getting games that are being released on the Genesis. So this was another one I wanted to add to my collection as well. And a little bit more into the modern era, I'm gonna show both of these off at the same time. We Fit You and Harvest Moon 3D A New Beginning. The reason why I'm doing both of these at the same time, and the main reason, is because if you don't know about this, if you're a collector or even want to start getting into collecting of video games in general, especially for the Wii U and the 3DS stuff, in March of this year, Nintendo is going to terminate the Wii U shop and the 3DS shop all at one time. So these are going to get crazy expensive down the line at one point. As you can see, I actually paid a little bit of money to get this guy. But it was great to add this to my collection. And same thing for Harvest Moon. I'm a big Harvest Moon fan. I have most of the games. I don't have them all yet, but I do have the majority of them. Harvest Moon is a game. It's a family sim. I'm not even gonna go into specifics of it. It's a family sim. You build a family, you raise a farm and whatnot, raise chicken, pigs, dogs, whatever the heck is going on the farm, crops and things like that. You fight the seasons and you build a relationship. and raise and have a family. But that's the premise of Harvest Moon. Wii U Fit, or Wii Fit U, whatever you want to call it. Wii Fit U is actually a re-release of the original Wii Fit game that came out on the Wii many years ago. It's just been improved with new exercises, new activities, new things in general. But if you're getting into collecting, if you're going to be a collector and you want to collect for the Wii U and the 3DS, get these on physical before they're gone completely from the 3DS shop and the Wii U shop. But it's great to have those into my collection. Now, off of the retro stuff and moving into some modern day stuff, and I mean recent. Starting off with the Switch, which was my biggest collection of games that I got this past month. Want to show a few things. Bubble Bobble 4. The Baron is back. Now, Bubble Bobble, if you don't know about Bubble Bobble, it's actually been around for many years. It's actually been around since the early NES. These guys have been around for a while, these characters. I never played any of the Bubble Bobble games, unfortunately. And it's funny because I never knew these existed until a few years ago. Not many, but a few years back, I discovered about Bubble Bobble and I saw the originals. If you know Bubble Bobble, you know these are awesome platformers. They're fun. They're actually multiplayer too. They actually go up to 4 players. So you get, you and 3 friends can play Bubble Bobble, have some fun and just doing crazy platforming styles, some little, some puzzle features into it. But Bubble Bobble 4 is really cool. You can get that into your collection. So next game I wanted to talk about was one that I played on the 360 back in the day when it was still on the storefront, when it was just digital only. And this game I was really excited about when I found out that this game was coming to physical releases, and also it finally had all the extra content that we all been waiting for if you've been waiting for this game. And this one is called Cuphead. Now, Cuphead, the cool thing about Cuphead is, one, it's actually on Amazon too. Oh, not Amazon. What am I talking about? Amazon. It's actually on Netflix. There's an actual TV show on Netflix called Cuphead, and it talks about the characters like Cuphead, Mug, all those guys. But that's besides the point of the show. But the show is really good though. If you can check it out on Netflix as well. But the game is absolutely incredible. It's such a fun game. It's extremely hard. Like extremely hard. And it's just one of those games that you kind of have to play just so you can understand the difficulty. But this game is absolutely fun. Platformer slash, kind of action shooter, whatever genre you want to put into play. It has a lot of different elements to it. But you can play up to 2 players, so you get to play as one of the characters on the front of this, on the cover and everything. And also has all the DLC content on the cartridges and or disc if you buy it on Xbox or PlayStation 4. But everything, the reason why it took so long to get the extra content, and reason why just for this game to be made in general, is everything is hand drawn. It's literally an homage to the older style of what cartoons used to look like the old school cartoons like Mickey Mouse and that nature. But everything is hand drawn. Cuphead's absolutely amazing. It's fun to play. It's extremely difficult. Wild boss fights. Crazy looking graphics in the sense of just how the gameplay looks and the art style and everything, but it's a gorgeous game nonetheless, and it's great to have it finally in my collection physically after all these years. Now, next game I want to talk about is a very classic series that is following on through. But this game here I was really excited for, and it's a spin-off of the original series of games, and it's called Dragon Quest Treasures. Dragon Quest Treasures is a spin-off of the original series of Dragon Quest, or Dragon Wars to some other people that may know about the game series and whatnot, that it was of old, back on like the original NES and everything else like that, but it turned to Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest Treasures is a spin-off of the original series, and it takes on the adventure of Eric and Mia on the quest. You get a party, you build a party, you get these different creatures, you fight different bosses, different creatures and things like that. It's a very fun game. It's an RPG. It's a very nice game I've seen so far from what I've seen gameplay wise. I'm looking forward to getting to it one way or another at some point in time. But it's really a fun game. If you ever get a chance to check out Dragon Quest, check out Dragon Quest Treasures. But there's a long list of those games. There's a long list. There's Dragon Quest. I think it's up to the original series is up to like 12 or 13, something like that. I think it's a lot, something like that. It's a lot of games into that franchise. But check out Dragon Quest Treasures. It's really a fun looking game. Now, next on this list, something it went under my radar and I didn't know about it. And then when I finally looked at it, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna like it too much. I think I'm a bypass on this one. But this one here, eventually I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot and I'll add to the collection, of course. And it's called The Outbound Ghost. Basically, you're a ghost helping out other ghosts move and transition into the afterlife. It has combat, it has, you know, these crazy boss fights and things like that. It has a very wild range of characters and things like that. But it's a 2.5D world. So if you don't know what 2.5, it's not full-blown 3D. It's not fully 2D. It's right in the mix. And the characters are they look very comedic. They're very cartoonish. Kind of gives more of like a Paper Mario style look to it. In that regard and whatnot. But the Outbound Ghost looks interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that will play out. It has a nice little story from what I'm hearing, but basically you're just helping ghosts transition into the afterlife, and that's the whole point of Outbound Ghost and looking into that game. Now, the next on this list, and I just got this from Limited Run not too long ago, and I haven't gotten a chance to play it, but it looked really, really interesting when I got it in my hands and saw the gameplay for it, and it's called Dreamscaper. And speaking of RPGs, yet again, another RPG that I added to my collection, which came from Limited Run. And I was really excited about this because it's golf. It also plays as golf. And it's called RPG Golf Legends. If I get the angle right, there we go. Yeah, there it is. RPG Golf Legends. Now, this one didn't have a physical release on the US side of things. It was kind of... it was only really in like the Europe countries and things like that, European countries. But this one, if you know anything about a game called Golf Story, it's not related to it in any way, shape, or form. It's not related to it. But Golf Story and RPG Golf Legends pretty much have their similarities in the ways. But you basically get your character, you play golf, you level them up, and it has all kinds of different things. And I'm really interested to see how it is. But there is actual RPG elements and enemies to fight as you're playing golf. So if you like golf, you like RPG, and you want them mixed in, that's what you get with this. That's what you get with RPG Golf Legends. But it is available off a Limited Run as a distro title. It is through Amazon as well. And the company that is making it, of course, is Kemco. If you know anything about Kemco, a lot of the games are very similar to each other. Now, this game, I didn't know it even existed until I randomly saw a post about it on somebody else's page on Facebook. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw it, and I was like, this looks interesting. When I finally looked it up, I was like, I gotta have it. It looks epically fun. And it's called the Jitsu Squad. Okay, come on, let's go right now. Jitsu Squad, it's like, if you ever played Castle Crashers, if you ever heard of Castle Crashers or any types of side scroller beat 'em ups, if you like beat 'em ups like, you know, Double Dragons and Streets of Rage, things like that, but Castle Crashers in particular, this is the game to go with. Jitsu Squad is really fun. It looks really interesting. I actually tried it a little bit, and it's wacky, it's crazy, it's got a lot going on. But if you like beat 'em ups, this is something. But if you like action beat 'em ups, Jitsu Squad is really fun. It's really cute and fun and whatnot with the animals. Next on the list, I'm happy to see these guys come back. It's called the new Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja game. Now, this one, I found out about this one was getting remade. Joe and Mac is from the old school days. They were actually, of course, another game franchise has been around for many decades from the original NES. And these guys haven't seen a game in years. I personally haven't seen a game in years, unless there's something else I don't know about. Let me know in the comments below. But this should be the newest game in over a decade or so, if I'm correct. It's the T-Rex edition, which comes with a Japanese trading card, a 3D keychain, and 2 sticker sheets. I mean, who doesn't like stickers? But this is really cool if you like another side-scrolling platformer, things like that, and you know, beat up enemies, have a crazy little boss fight here and there or so like that. Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja is the game to go with. It's really cool. It looks kind of interesting. I haven't played a Joe and Mac game since I was in my teens, so it's nice to finally see them getting some love again after all these years. Next on, I want to show you guys, it's funny because I kicked myself in the butt for not buying it when I saw it on release day, and it's from Super Rare Games, and I'm actually doing a video on that as well. Stay tuned for that. I'm actually doing a new video on all the different websites I get games from and whatnot, so please be on the lookout for that. Make sure your notifications on when I drop it. But this game right here, called Horus. Horus is very, very interesting. It's a robot platforming game. You play as this robot here on the front. Missed out on it initially. I saw it and I didn't go in for it. For whatever the reasons were, I don't know why I didn't buy it. And then when it sold out a little while after, when I was seeing all the rave reviews and everybody talking about the story, on how the story plays out. And if you know who Paul Hammond and Sean, I never can get their names in the back of my head to remember them, who they were. But I've seen them, Sean Scapplehorn and Paul Hammond. These guys, I know them from other games that they've made. I've seen their names before in a couple of other games that I've seen, but it's really nice to see them do this. But this game here is absolutely great. I really enjoyed this game. I really did. I think it's fun. It's cute. It has a nice little story behind it, and it just looks absolutely great. It's a great game. I think you'll really enjoy it. Now, another game that I'm stupidly happy that they did. And honestly, I think that these guys, this is probably one of the best collections of games that I've ever seen in my life. For a collection to be this big and this great in what they do, this is really truly probably one of the holy grails of collections. And it's the Atari 50, the anniversary celebration collection. This is the Steelbook edition too. There's a standard edition that just comes with a regular case, but this is a Steelbook, and I had to get the Steelbook. This collection has literally over 100 games. Over 100, not 100, over 100 games, I'm telling you. And I like Atari games. I have an Atari 2600. I have a 5800. I think this is great. I think this collection is absolutely wonderful. It shows how much love Atari still has for the games that they've been putting out for all these years. And the fact that they got this release makes it that much better. The Atari collection is absolutely great. If you can get it, if you love Atari, you love the games that you have old, and you want to play them on new generation consoles like the Switch or Xbox or PlayStation, grab it. It's wonderful. It's over 100 games. You can't beat it. Ender Lilies. It's funny how all of a sudden everybody's going crazy for this one. Really, the collectors that are going nuts for this, and especially this particular version of it. This is the collector's edition of this game. Ender Lilies is another game that I would say it's absolutely just amazing. The art style, the dark undertones, the hack and slash has, some gore. If you like just dark undertones, Souls-like style gameplay, get Ender Lilies. Ender Lilies is awesome. You can get this. I actually got this from Limited Run. I believe Limited Run is still able to sell these through Amazon, maybe. But I know this game was going crazy when it first dropped, and then after that it was gone. So if you can get a copy of Ender Lilies, it is great. I think it's awesome to check in. So please check it out if you can. Another game that I bought. I actually bought this off of Video Games Plus Canada, or CA if you want us to go for short. And they were actually doing a sale before the holiday was over with, and I managed to get this guy, Arena of Spirits. I hope I said that right, because I don't know if I said it. I guess it's Arena. I'm gonna say it's Arena. I'm gonna say it the way I want to say it. But it comes from Red Art Games, and this is actually the red edition, or otherwise known as the retro edition of this game. This game here, I heard good things about it. It has a nice little story behind it. It's an RPG element style game. It has a nice story. You fight enemies, you fight creatures and things like that. You basically have Arita, and she's befriended a spirit. And the game is fairly short. It's not that long of a game, which I can appreciate. The fact that, nowadays there's so many games that are so long, like hours upon hours of gameplay. I like the fact that this game here is not that long. I think it ranges from like maybe 6 to 7 hours. Not that long at all. It's not even passing 10 if I'm correct. But Arena of Spirits is a really cute game. You befriend the spirit, and you're helping other spirits out and things like that. This game is absolutely comedic and hilariously just fun to play. Didn't go crazy money wise on this one, but I had been looking for this game for a minute, and lucky enough somebody was happy enough to sell it to me. And I am thrilled to finally have this game in my collection. And it's actually a dual pack. It is called Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. This game here is absolutely comedic and hilariously just fun to play. If you ever get a chance to play this game, please check it out. It's an over-the-top comical. It's fast-paced. It's action. It's nothing but guns. Like I said, it's guns, gore, and cannoli, and some cannoli is gonna be somewhere. It's based off of the old school, mafia style. You got like Tommy guns, and it's funny as all outdoors. This game is absolutely crazy in the sense of how this game plays, but it's an over-the-top action adventure game, but with some a lot of shooting and a lot of gunplay and everything else like that. If you are a huge gamer from back in the day when Xbox Live Arcade was kicking on the storefront, there was the original game called Super Meat Boy. I actually have the original Super Meat Boy Collector's Edition from Limited Run, and I also managed to get Super Meat Boy Forever, which is the sequel to the original Super Meat Boy. Also came from Limited Run. I finally got this in my hand. This game here is extremely hard. This makes me want to throw a controller. This will make me literally throw my controller at the wall, and hopefully it breaks. These games are extremely hard. It's a platformer, but these games are absolutely crazy. The art style is just wacky. If you ever get a chance to play a game called like The Binding of Isaac, though it has that similar tone of graphics and things like that. But these guys here is made by a company called Team Meat. Of course, hey, if you're gonna be called Team Meat, you might as well call your game Super Meat Boy. But this is the sequel. This game is absolutely amazing. I love Super Meat Boy. They may make you rage, but it's a fun rage. So check it out. Check out Super Meat Boy and check out Super Meat Boy Forever. It's absolutely hilarious. Now, the last 3 Switch games I want to show off real quick. First one I want to show you is Ryzen EX. Now, this game here I had been looking for a hot minute, and it's another shooter. It's another shoot 'em up, and I didn't know this game even existed. I didn't know this page, this website, and these developers actually even existed until last year or the year. But I think 2021 is when I discovered them. But this game was already long gone by the time I even knew it existed, sale-wise and everything. I played it. I loved it. It is amazing. Just it brings me back to the old days of like the Genesis. If you ever get a chance to play this digitally. If you want this physically though, this particular version, the limited edition of it, goes for a couple $100 or so. So another game I wanted to talk about, Bite the Bullet. Now, Bite the Bullet is literally, if you ever played a game called Contra, or even another game franchise or series called Metal Slug, this will give you that feeling. But the premise of this game is not only just to run and shoot and jump on platforms and kill enemies and things like that, but also you have to eat a lot. Like you're 2 characters. You get to play as a girl or a guy in this game, but they can either be fat or they can be muscular, like well built and whatnot, or you eat a bunch of food and they become fat. And it's comical and it's all outdoors. I've seen gameplay of this and I was like, I'm gonna try to get this. Earthlock comes from Super Rare Games. Another game that I missed out on when I found out about Super Rare. This game was long gone. This game was just sold out, of course. Another fantasy RPG game. Really, it looks very fun and interesting. The story was very good from what I've heard from a lot of different people who I was asking about this game. It's a turn-based strategy RPG. If you like those turn-based styles, which I generally love, I will probably play a turn-based RPG game more than I'll play like an action RPG. I love turn-based. Turn-based games are awesome for me. I've always loved them, like from the old school games of back in the day, like Legend of Dragoon and things like that. So if you like turn-based, you want a nice, cute game, it looks with some beautiful art style and RPG, Earthlock is really cool. There is no actual US version of this game. Another game that does not have a US version of it. It's on European base. So if you're trying to get those, most likely you're gonna have to go on for eBay, which you got to spend some money. Now, moving on real quick to the Xbox, because I want to give Xbox some love. Xbox don't get enough love. I am so happy that I got this for the price that I got it for, because it was cheap and it was on clearance. And it's called Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, but it's the Super Edition. This particular version has all the DLC content on it. Every piece of digital content. And if you like Power Rangers and a good fighting game, and it's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, it's a good fighter. But it doesn't go into the same premise like the Mortal Kombat, the Super Smash Brothers, the Tekkens, things like that. It's not in that way. But if you like Power Rangers, you like a good fighting game, this right here is really, really good. It's on clearance right now at GameStop if you can still find copies of it on the Xbox, and I believe PlayStation also has the clearance sale on it. It even comes with the DLC content for Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighter as their own version of themselves as Power Rangers. And you get to use the Zords as an extra, as a super attack. It's crazy, it gets fun. But if you like it, if you like Power Rangers, check it out, it's really cool. I was super excited to get Midnight Suns. I actually pre-ordered this game. It's the Legendary Edition. I'll tell you like this, when I first found out about this game was coming out, I was like, cool, I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to see how this game will come out to be. Another deck building card-based game in order to do attacks and things like that. So it doesn't play, if you're looking at Midnight Suns and thinking that it's gonna play similar to the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game where you have all these different characters, all the Marvel and heroes and villains, it doesn't play like that. It doesn't play like that at all. It's a RPG, card-based, a turn-based strategy game in a sense. Of course, I'll put strategy in there too. It has points where you have cutscenes and dialogue and stuff like that, but the actual combat is strategic. But you use cards in order to attack with like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Venom, Hulk, all those different guys. They have to use cards, but it's really cool. It's actually fun. Surprisingly, if you want to try to get this game, get it. It's really a good game. It's actually, even though it's card-based and probably some people didn't care much for it because of the fact that it was card-based, they wanted more something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Look, give it a shot. It's really cool. I actually enjoy it. It looked fun from the gameplay and everything, so hopefully I'm gonna get my chance to play this. Who doesn't like a good street racer? If you like street racing, of course you don't know how to drive outside, know how to drive really out there in the world and whatnot, but you want to just learn how to drive in the game world. Need for Speed Unbound dropped last year. Criterion and whatnot, Electric Arts coming out with this game. Need for Speed Unbound, it takes off of a little bit different than what the normal style of Need for Speed usually looks like, and it's more graffiti style. It seems like that they're going to more of the urban style of gameplay and graphics and whatnot. I like how I do like the fact that the cell shading graphics of it. I love cell shading graphics. I love cell shading since one of my all-time favorite games of all time, Jet Set Radio Future. But Need for Speed Unbound is using the cell shaded graphics. Yeah, like smoke under your tires when you do certain tricks and things like that. It has these pop-up features that come up when you do certain stuff and actions and things like that. But if you like Need for Speed Unbound looks very, very interesting. It is a little different than what you might be used to on the sense of how Need for Speed plays as, but this one seems to be really legitimately cool. So hopefully, I think it did all right from what I can tell. It looked actually all right. Last two games I want to show off and talk about. I'm gonna put them together. Evil West and A Plague Tale Requiem. These two games, to start off with one of them, Evil West. You want a game that just has nothing but guns blazing, action adventure, action game that just got nothing but blood and gore, guns blaze, shooting enemies all day long, and just turn your brain off. It doesn't have no crazy, deep story or nothing like that. Evil West is that game. Evil West is just a straight up, if you want like Borderlands style kind of stuff, it's third person, it's a third person shooter. But if you want to just go with some wacky, crazy, just guns ablaze shooter, get Evil West. Evil West is actually really, really cool. I saw gameplay for it. When I saw the gameplay for it, it was absolutely nuts. I was like, I gotta get it. I gotta have it. So I'm gonna be actually playing that very soon. I'm actually gonna jump into that next. And Plague Tale, this is the sequel. I don't own the original yet. I don't have the first game yet. I'm actually interested in getting the first game. I want to get the first game very, very soon. Hopefully I'll get that. But I missed out on the first one because I thought this was more of a visual novel game. I didn't think this was like an adventure style, adventure game, kind of like the Assassin's Creeds and all that stuff. I didn't think of that. And you play as the siblings and their mother. And this is taking place about, I believe, 6 months after the original game. So, but I'm looking for the original so I can play that and give you more of a honest review of what this is, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Graphic wise, it looks amazing. You have to work as a team with the 2 characters you're playing as. It looks really, really interesting, and I think it's going to be all right. But the story is supposed to be great. It was actually even nominated for Game of the Year alongside with Horizon and God of War and whatnot. Oh, and Elden Ring, I believe, if I'm right. It was supposed to be also in the Game of the Year category. Now, the next game I got brings me back to my old stomping grounds on the Genesis. And this game here means a lot to me because of just the fact of what it comes with. It's not, of course, the original game like it used to be back on the Sega, but this game is something that I thought was cool and it looked actually interesting. It's called Road Redemption. Now, if you know what Road Redemption, just looking at the cover of it, it looks very similar to a game called Road Rash, actually. There is a game called Road Rage out there, but there actually is. The original game was called Road Rash. Road Rash used to be on the Genesis from back in the day. I bet even my dad remembers me playing those games. But Road Redemption is basically you're taking your motorcycle game, you're doing races, and you're literally racing on motorcycles with bats, chains, sledgehammers. I think there might be somewhere like that. You even get the cops that come and chase you and everything, and it even gets to like points where they shooting at you. And you got helicopters chasing you. It is crazy in this game. Road Redemption is the better version of that game because there's actually 2 different games that came out. This is one of the other ones, Road Redemption. I think there is another game called Road Rage or Road Rash or something like that came out on the PS4, but it was absolutely garbage. Just straight up garbage. It sucked terribly. So this is the better one to go with. But if you missed the old school Road Rash from back in the Genesis days and whatnot, if you want some nostalgia feeling on new gen hardware or at least current gen hardware, this is the game to go with. If you're a Persona fan, and I'm not talking about Persona Royal or Persona 5 in general, I'm actually bringing back something a little different. Now, this game came out a couple years ago, but if you like Persona, and you like the music of Persona, and you like to dance to it too, with the characters, this is the double pack, the Endless Night Collection. This comes with Persona 3 and Persona 5. Persona 3 was Dancing in the Moonlight, and then Dancing in the Starlight for Persona 5. I love dancing games. If you like good old-fashioned, like the DDR games, the Dance Dance Revolution games and whatnot, even Space Channel 5 and stuff, like if you ever played those types of games. But if you like Persona 5's music and everything, this game is absolutely just great. You actually can play it with VR. You don't have to play it with VR, but it makes the experience that much more fun. I actually got this off of Video Games Plus. I believe it's still even available on the website if you want to get this game, but it enhances the gameplay if you play in VR. I do recommend it. It actually comes with some DLC content too as well. And it comes with a special case. It's not a steelbook, but it comes with a special case. If you can find it though on the website, please do so. It's really cool and everything, so you don't have to spend like crazy money to find it, because I think it does go a little bit high on the price wise. Now, next game I want to talk about is a remastered of the original game that came out on PSP. This is called Conception Plus, Maiden of the 12 Stars. Now, this game, like I said, it came out originally on the PSP. Man, the PSP, boy, the good old days of PSP. It's a RPG game, anime style, as you can see on the cover. Is anime style RPG. You get to bring about 13 different characters. Your party can be up to 13 characters, which is crazy. But you basically build bonds. You have some, there's some romance and relationship building into the game, especially with the party members and things like that, with the 12 maidens. And but it's an RPG element game. If you like RPGs, this is something I think is really interesting. And like I said, it's the new version of the game. It's the remaster that came out. But check it out. But also it is on PSP, so if you want to play the original game, get it on PSP. You just have to find it. I'm gonna talk a minute about it. Gungrave Gore. I have been waiting for this game for for a hot minute. It's similar to like an Evil West, when I say like in the sense of just turning your brain off and just stylish shooting and guns blazing and everything. This is it. This is another game like that. There is actually another game on the PS4. There's a Gungrave game on the PS4 that utilizes the VR headset. And also there's 2 other games that came out back in the day on the PS2. Overdose, and the original Gungrave. Those games are really kind of hard to find. They're not expensive, but they're hard to find. But if you want to play the original games to kind of get a taste of what Gungrave really is, you play as the character Grave. It's stylish shooting, like guns blazing, shooting enemies and things like that. If you like action, just guns and stuff like that, it has a lot of blood and gore, sexual, some sexual themes as well. But Gungrave Gore is really excellent. If you want to get a chance, it's not the greatest game in the world, but if you like something like this and whatnot in the sense of shooting and just mindless fun, go ahead and get it. Callisto Protocol. I am very happy to have this one. I'm very excited to find if I'm gonna possibly play this soon. If you know this game, the background behind this game, or at least developer-wise, these are the same guys who made the Dead Space games. Dead Space, I never really played Dead Space. It was, on the 360. I never played them. Never was a huge fan of the Dead Space franchise. And boy, I missed out. So I'm looking for the Dead Space games. I'm actually trying to get the Dead Space games and play those. But Callisto Protocol pretty much plays in similar aspect to that. It's a horrifying game. It has some jump scares. The style, you have to dodge a lot. You have to use a lot of melee tactics, melee attacks and whatnot to defeat these xenomorphs, as you want to call them, xenomorph creatures and whatnot, like these disformed humans. They just have different limbs and they look crazy. They just look nuts. But you're on Jupiter, you're a prisoner. After some mission and whatnot, you have to escape off of this thing, and it's nuts. But Callisto Protocol came out not too long ago, and in actuality, I didn't just get the standard day one edition. I got the big boy, the special edition, which came with all these goodies in the back. It came with a sketchbook, collectible pins, the season pass, which gives you all the digital content. This is the two biggest things that I wanted though. The steel book and the Jacob statue. The statue looks awesome. If you can just look at that. That looks amazing. That looks sick as I don't know what. But I had to get this, so I had to make sure I got that. So Callisto Protocol. Last but not least. I saved this for last, not for any real particular reason, but it was the last thing that I bought during that last year. Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. This is the collector's edition for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Now, this is the only game I have of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. I don't own any of the other ones. I don't own any of these games other than this one. I watched gameplay on this. I actually wanted to play. It looks interesting. It's not as scary as some of the other Five Nights at Freddy's games out there, but it has some like little kind of jump scares and stuff like that. But it's more colorful compared to the other games and whatnot. But it still tells the tale of the whole entire lore of this franchise. But Five Nights at Freddy's. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be doing this at least once a month, just to show off all the great things I've collected over the course of the month. This is the first episode of hopefully a growing series I'm gonna be doing. This is the first episode of The King's Treasure, and this is gonna be my first video of the new year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me a ton and it supports this channel. Hit that like button, share with your friends and family members and whatnot. Leave comments in the section below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want me to play next. If you guys want to see anything that I may have shown in this video that you want me to play, let me know what you guys think. And also tell me what you guys may have gotten over before the new year ended. Let me know what you guys got if you're a collector and whatnot. But thank you guys for coming by. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and have a great new year and many blessings to you as well.